Hey guys, welcome back to Talk 之乐. This video is part 2 of my simulation of the HSK 5 reading section. This is an official simulation of HSK 5 following the old format. We do not have any complete simulation of HSK 5 with the 3.0 system, so the new HSK. But even in the new system, the exercise types will be the same and the words will also be the same roughly for levels 4 and 5. So this simulation can still really help you prepare for your exam. So if you missed part 1 of this video, you can find it in my HSK 5 playlist. I suggest you do that first, so you see how the section works and how the exercises evolve, because of course they start from the easiest questions and go on to the more complicated ones. So today we're going to finish this exercise. We're going to do questions from 53 to number 60. As you can see, in this exercise, you will have one paragraph with multiple gaps, with a question number, and each question has different options that you have to pick from to complete the paragraph. So this paragraph has 4 sentences to fill in. So let's get started with reading, and we will read one sentence and then translate it to make everything more efficient and easier to follow. 一位教育家曾这样讲过，孩子需要鼓励，就如植物需要浇水一样。离开鼓励，孩子就不能生存。So, 教育家 is a teacher, we could say, or educator. So an educator 曾 means something that happened in the past. So an educator once said, 讲过，孩子需要鼓励。鼓励 means encouragement or to encourage. So children need encouragement. 就如 just like 植物 just like plants need 浇水 they need water, they need to be watered. 浇 means to pour water. So children need encouragement just like plants need water. 离开鼓励 outside of encouragement, without encouragement, 孩子就不能生存. Children cannot survive. So this is the general theme of our paragraph. 周红是一位普通的技术员，但是他非常懂得怎样鼓励别人。This is a proper noun. It is a person called 周红. So 周红 is a 普通, normal technician, person that works with technology. But he really understands how to encourage others. 鼓励别人。他女儿小时候特别不喜欢数学。And then we have number 53. So when his daughter was little, she particularly didn't like math. So we need to see which option from number 53 fits the best. So this daughter didn't like math. 53. A says, 对数学很好奇. 好奇 means curious. So she was very curious towards math. This doesn't make sense because we just said she doesn't like math. Then option B says, 所以数学成绩很差. 差 means lacking. So her math results, 成绩, her math grades were very lacking. So they were not good grades. And this could be a good option. So let's keep it in mind. Then C says, 被一所大学录取了. 录取 to be accepted into a university. This doesn't make sense because we are talking about 小时候. So when the daughter was little, she didn't like math, and it doesn't make sense to say she was accepted into a university. And then we have D. 学校里的老师都很喜欢她. So the teachers in the school really liked her. This grammatically could fit, but it doesn't make sense with what we're talking about. We're talking about liking math, not how she was as a person or how she interacted with the teachers. So option B is the best here. Then let's proceed. 有一天，周红给女儿出了10道题，结果女儿竟然做错了9道。So one day, 周红 gave his daughter 10 questions, 10 math problems. 结果女儿 the result was that the daughter 竟然 surprisingly 做错了 did wrong, completed in a wrong way, 9 of them. So she was given 10 questions, she answered 9 of them wrong. 周红 并没有生气，而是对女儿打架。So 并 is a reinforcement of a negation. So Zhou Hong was not mad at all, was not angry at all, 生气。And moreover, he, 打架 is an adverb and it means very strongly with a lot of passion. So he very strongly did something. 54. So option A is 轻视, which means disdain. So it's not a positive verb. So since we are saying he was not mad at all and instead did something, we need a verb that is positive. So it's not going to be 轻视. Then we have 确认, which means to confirm. He very strongly confirmed, which could fit. Let's keep it in mind. And we have 承认. 承认 means to praise, which makes more sense here because we're looking for the opposite of someone that is mad that the child made a mistake. So C so far is the best fit. And then we have 询问. 询问 means to inquire, to investigate something or to ask. So B, C, and D all fit. Let's look at the continuation of the sentence to see which one fits the best. 这么难的题目，你竟然也能做对。我小时候可是一道都做不出啊。So 这么难的题目, such difficult questions, such difficult items or problems, 竟然 expresses surprise. So you actually managed to do right, 做对. You managed to do one right. 我小时候, when I was little, I could not even do one correctly. 一道都做不出啊. I would have not been able to complete even one. So this is a very positive message. So we can go with option C, which is praise, 承认. Then let's continue. 第二天晚上, 周红, 55. So let's read until the end of the sentence. 准备了10道难度降低了的题目，才让女儿做，结果一下做对了5道。So the second day, 周红 something 准备, so it's probably going to be an adverb because 准备 is a verb. So he prepared 10 questions. 难度, the level of difficulty, 减低 was reduced, was lowered. So he prepared 10 questions with a lower level of difficulty. So let's read the options of 55. We have 特意, which means intentionally, something done on purpose. We have 逐步, which means gradually. 分别, which means differently, or to set something apart. And then 始终, which means always. So here, option B and D do not make a lot of sense because we're not talking about always, we're talking about only the second day. So D does not fit, and also B does not fit because he doesn't do anything gradually. Actually, he makes 10 new questions that are easier. So it's not B nor D. C also does not relate because he's not separating anything. So we're left with A. He intentionally chose questions that were easier. So he made 10 easier questions and then let his daughter do them. And the result was that she did 5 of them correctly. 他有鼓励女儿说，天哪，你真是太 something 了。So he again encouraged his daughter by saying, my goodness, 天哪, you really are very something. It's going to be an adjective probably. So again, he is encouraging her, so we need an adjective that is positive. So you really are. 专心 means concentrated, focused. 意外 means accidental, something not on purpose. 不要紧 means not having to worry, do not worry. Or 了不起, unbelievable. So here it does not make sense to say you are very focused. So here, 意外 and 不要紧 do not make sense at all because 意外 is accidental and 不要紧 means you don't need to worry. So we're left with A and D, and the strongest and most positive option is 了不起. You really are unbelievable. You really are outstanding. So as you can see, we finished all questions. So in the exam, due to the lack of time, you would probably stop reading here. But for completeness, let's finish the other 3 sentences. 1天之内，你可以进步这么大。之内 Within 1 day, you managed to 进步 progress so much, to make such a big progress. 第3天，女儿自己主动要求，爸爸今晚我们还做数学题吧。On the 3rd day, the daughter herself 主动要求，she asked, she requested, 主动 on her own, Dad, tonight can we please do some math again? And then 半年之后，这个小女孩成了班里的数学课代表。Half a year later, this little girl, this little child became the 数学课代表 the representative, the math representative of her class. So the last sentences are more for context than for using them to answer the questions. So we did the first 4 questions. Now let's move on to the next paragraph, which also has 4 questions. And then we will be done with this section. As you can see, it's a lot of characters. Of course, you do not have a lot of time. You have approximately 4 minutes per paragraph because it's roughly 1 minute per question. So it's important that you know your characters very well, but at the same time, do not stress if you encounter one word that you do not know, because as you can see, you just need to have the rough idea of what the main topic is that you're talking about. It is important that you understand the characters of all the options. So for that, you only need to study the vocabulary list very well. So let's move on to this paragraph, which in my opinion is harder because it uses some words that we do not see so often. But yeah, this is also the last exercise of this section, so it makes sense that it's a bit harder. So, 春秋时期，齐国和楚国是著名的强国。So, 时期 means the period in the spring and autumn period, which is a certain historical period of Chinese history. So, we can say during this historical period, 齐国, so the Qi kingdom and the Chu kingdom were 著名的, they were famous, important, 强国, powerful states. Everything that has 强 in it means power or force. They were very powerful states during this time. 有一回，齐国的国王派自己的大臣杨泽访问楚国。So there was a time when the 国王, the king of the Qi kingdom, Pai, sent his own 大臣. This is quite a formal word. It means the minister. So he sent his own minister, Yang Zi, that's the name of the minister. So he sent the minister Yang Zi, 访问 to visit the Chu kingdom. So he was sent to visit the other kingdom. 楚王想趁这个机会，找一个办法让齐国的设置丢脸接起来。And then we have 57. 楚国的强大。So the Chu king, the king of Chu kingdom, he wanted to take this 机会, this opportunity. So he looked for a way, he looked for a method to let the 使者, the envoy, the representative of the other kingdom, 丢脸, to lose face. So to make a bad impression, to lose their honor and reputation. So he looked for a way to embarrass this minister, basically. 接起来, in order to something, the 强大, the power. Again, same character 强, the power and the force and the strength of the Chu kingdom. So let's go look at 57. First option is 主备, which means to possess something, to own something. Then we have 显示, which means to show. Then 发表, to publish. And 领导, to guide someone. So here he was looking for a way to show the force of the kingdom. Not to possess, 主备, not to publish or not to guide, to show the force of his own kingdom. So it's B. Then 楚王了解到杨泽身材矮小，就命令手下的人在城门旁边开了一个地的洞。So the king of Chu understood, he knew, that Yangzi, that this minister's 身材, this minister's statue, physique, figure, was short. So he, Mingling, he ordered 手下的人, his subordinates, literally the people underneath his palm. So he ordered to his subordinates to, and then we need to go the verb, 开了. He ordered to open 一个很低的洞, a very low hole 洞, where 在城门旁边, next to the city walls, next to the city gates. So he understood that the minister was going to be very short, so he ordered his guards to open a small hole on the side of the city gates. 杨子来到楚国的时候，楚王命令守门的士兵关闭了城门，让杨子从旁边的洞口爬进去。So, this first part says, when Yang Zi arrived in the kingdom of Chu, the Chu king ordered showmen, it's a synonym of the guards, of the gatekeepers. And in fact, we have 士兵. So 士兵 is soldiers. So he ordered the soldiers that were gatekeepers to 关闭, to close the city gate. And to let Yang Zi, to let this minister from 旁边的洞口, from the small hole on the side of the walls, 爬进去, to crawl into the city. So he ordered to close the city gate and to make the minister crawl from the small hole he had created. 杨子看到这样的 something, 明白了楚王的目的. Let's stop here for now. So we go to 58. So 杨子看到, he saw this kind of something. So the options we have are 情景, which means situation. Then we have 景色, which means landscape. Then 背景, which means background. And then 奇迹, which means miracle. So we exclude miracle because there's no miracle happening. And we also exclude option B and C because he's not seeing any landscape or any background. What he is doing, he is observing the situation. This situation where the minister is being ordered around. So we have to pick 情景. So the minister took note of this situation. And in fact, we say 明白了, he understood the 目的, the objective of the king. 他思考了一小会儿. He thought, he reflected a little bit. 便对 something 的人说. And he said towards some people. We need to add the word. So A, 说服, it means to convince someone, to persuade. Then we have 批准, to approve. Then we have 咨询, to ask advice. And lastly, 接待, to receive. So we have this verb and then 的人, so the people who did something. So the minister said to the people who, we cannot use 说服 or 批准 because nobody is persuading him and nobody is approving him or also asking advice from him. So the only option we have left is 接待, the person that were receiving him, these guards at the gate. So 接待. He said, 这是一个狗洞，不是城门. This is a hole for a dog, not a city gate. 我要是访问狗国，当然可以爬狗洞. So if we're missing the if, but here we understand this is a hypothetical situation. If I were visiting the kingdom of dogs, I certainly would crawl through this hole made for dogs. 请你们替我问一下楚王，我来访问的国家到底是楚国还是狗国? So if I came to visit the kingdom of dogs, I would certainly crawl through this hole. Please, T means to ask. Please ask to your king, the 国家, the country, the kingdom that I came to visit. 到底 simply reinforces a question. So in English, it's usually translated as how on earth or where on earth. So please ask him if the kingdom that I came to visit is the kingdom of Chu or the kingdom of dogs. So of course, the minister here is being very sarcastic. And then we have the last sentence. 楚王听了舌兵的报告 then a missing sentence, and then 迎接杨子进城 So the king of Chu heard the 报告, the report of the soldiers. Then we will have our sentence. And then Ying from Huang Ying, he welcomed the minister inside of the city. So something happened that made the king change his mind after hearing this report. And so 60 is not a single word, it's a sentence, which is longer. We have 变得非常愤怒. 愤怒 means angry, so he became very angry. Then B, 思考了很长时间. He reflected for a really long time. Then C, 只好命令打开城门. 只好, the best thing he could do was to order to open the city gates. And D, 发现杨子是个很有智慧的人. He discovered that Yang Zi was a very 智慧 means intellect, so we can say he was a very wise person. So among these options, the king did not become very angry because he let the minister come in. So it's not option A. It's also not option B because we do not have any indication that he reflected for a long time. Instead, option C makes more sense. He understood 治好, the only thing he could do, the best thing he could do was to order to open the city gates. And it makes sense because then we see that the minister manages to go into the city. Option D could also be slightly related. He saw that Yang Zi was very wise. But again, that does not explain how the minister managed to go into the city. So we need the missing link, which is that the gates were opened. So it is option C. So this is the end of this section of the reading component of HSK 5. You will find these exercises also in the new format. The vocabulary might be different, but all these words are still included in the new format anyways. So I hope it was a good practice for you. So please stay tuned for the next videos of my HSK 5 series. And of course, as soon as we will have official simulations of the new exam, we will move on to covering those. But in the meantime, it doesn't hurt to look through old exercises. So thank you very much for going through this exercise with me, and I wish you best of luck in your Chinese learning journey. 再见!